Love is Blind Season 4 contestant Paul Peden is an interesting choice for the reality dating show, but his Instagram gives some good insight into the somewhat quiet cast member. Paul, who is engaged to Micah Lucier on the Netflix series, is originally from New Orleans. He is an environmental scientist living and working in Seattle, where Love is Blind Season 4 was filmed. With Paul and Micah's relationship built up throughout the Love is Blind pod phase, the pair seems stronger than ever as they move closer to their wedding, where they'll decide if they want to stay together or break up. While much of Paul and Micah's story has revolved around Micah's feelings for fellow Love is Blind contestant Kwame Appiah, Paul has developed deep feelings for Micah throughout the season. Though he's not the most vocal about his feelings and Paul even exhibits some red flags, it's clear he has genuine affection for Micah and wants their relationship to work. Not much of Paul's life is shown in the series outside his relationship with his mother, who seems to adore Micah, so naturally many have taken to social media to learn more about him. 5. Paul shows off the view. From the Enchantments. One of Paul's most recent Instagram posts shows him at the Enchantments, a hiking trail in Washington. Standing in a photo-ready spot, Paul smiles for the camera after completing what was likely a very rigorous hike. The Enchantments is an over 20-mile trail that can be dangerous at times, but in the photo he posted, Paul seems like it may have been somewhat effortless. The photo's caption is cheeky, simply stating, "My legs are sore." It's clear that even though he was probably serious, Paul has the sense of humor it takes to joke around about almost anything. With Paul's environmental science background, it's not surprising that he enjoys being in nature. Washington, specifically the Seattle area, is full of gorgeous natural wonders for Paul to explore and study, which he surely does both in and outside his work. As seen scrolling through his Instagram account, Paul likes getting into nature and documenting his time there, whether he's in the photos or not. It's clear that the environment is something that matters deeply to Paul and that he was looking to share that passion in his relationship. 4. Paul shares his Alaskan seaplane adventures in a series of photos that don't feature the Love is Blind star. Paul shows his audience a seaplane he was able to take to an Alaskan island. While it may sound perfect, in the comment section, Paul warned his mother, Liz, that everything isn't as picturesque as it seems. Following a comment from a friend, stating, "I want to live there," Paul replied, "It is cool to visit. It's a tough life out there for sure. The people are very resilient and resourceful." Paul's trip, while maybe not the most luxurious, seemed to be profound for the scientist. In his post, Paul shared 2 photos, one of the plane and another of the view from above, before chatting about his experience in the comments section. A follower asked about the location of the photo, and while Paul was able to give an approximation, he said he went to 13 locations, all over the state, so he couldn't be too certain. As an environmental scientist, taking an exploratory trip through Alaska sounds like an incredible, potentially life-changing opportunity that Paul seems to know he's lucky to have had. 3. Paul shows his cousin Bobby some love in another series of photos from the Love is Blind star. Paul shared a few shots of himself and his cousin, Bobby, a decade apart. Bobby has been featured on the show as one of Paul's closest confidants, and it seems from the photos that has always been the case for Paul. Though not much is known about Bobby outside his relationship with Paul and his care for his cousin, it's obvious that the two have a tight-knit relationship and appreciate each other. The comments on the photo, which come from both Bobby and Paul's mom, Liz, are sweet and funny, which seems to be the standard for the family. 2. Paul's Italian adventures with much longer hair. In a series of photos from 2019, Paul is shown traveling throughout southeastern Italy. While some things have certainly changed for the Love is Blind star, like the length of his hair, his curiosity about the world seems to be ever present. The photos, taken in various places on the coast, show Paul looking serene, his curly hair hanging down to his shoulders. He has a few shots on a boat with other travelers, but mostly features himself and the beautiful sights he's gotten to see throughout his trip. Many of the comments on the series are new, from fans who are stunned to see Paul's hair so long, considering it's quite short throughout his time on Love is Blind. Paul seems sweet in the comments section, thanking people for their compliments and even going as far as complimenting one of his followers on her naturally curly hair. He even considers, in one of the comments, growing his curly hair out again at the request of one of his commenters. It's clear that engaging with his followers is something Paul enjoys doing, especially when they're singing his praises. 1. Paul's Pacific coastal camping trip. In another series of photos from 2018, Paul documents a Pacific coast camping trip with a friend. The photos range from shots of Paul to stunning views of the mountains and sea, with Paul clearly enjoying documenting his surroundings and time in nature. The photos are unsurprisingly gorgeous, capturing some beautiful moments of peace. There is a photo of a beer glass from Humble Sea Brewing Company in the series, a brewery in Santa Cruz, California, so the shots were likely taken around that area. With Paul choosing a few specific shots to show off his trip, the Love is Blind star clearly knows what to share to his highlight reel. Source: Paul Peden, Instagram.
Love in the modern world is fake when love was meant for joy too. When I find you, I realize that somehow we lie. Love in the modern world, it is fake when love was meant for joy. I know that he hurt you. Your 5 inches of heart is human. Can you be sure? No.